Hey gamers, today we're going to look at the expansion for Food Chain Magnate, the Ketchup mechanism, and other ideas. Let's check it out. Alright, so there's a whole heck of a lot of stuff that goes into this expansion here. There's a new menu here. There's new milestones. It says, hey, all new player menu right up here. And of course it has the old milestones there. It also gives you not the lineup you're used to seeing. It's basically an additional menu you have to look at to see some of the new areas and new cards and new job roles that you can have in this. Now, I will say real quick, this one does come with a 6th player. You can play with 6 players now, and that 6th place is the, I can't read that, sushi fahi or whatever. So you are a little sushi place now. You can also be that as well. So that is the 6th player there that you can play with. Now, this game has a whole heck of a lot. And I think the best way for me to explain what everything is, what all the new stuff is just to go through this new career path. Now, I won't be speaking much about the new milestones you can get. I will say that the book does tell you what each one does, and also there are certain milestones that have timer effects. You're going to put these on certain areas, certain milestones in the game, and they're going to disappear after the, in red is the 2nd round, and this would be the 3rd round. They would just disappear. On the first, these red ones, these 4 red ones, these would go with the first burger, pizza, drink that are marketed. You'd each put 1 on each one of those, and then the first to train someone. What this means is if these goals aren't achieved after 2 turns, then all of those goals go away. You know, there's a timer on them. Now with this one, you get an additional turn. This is on the 3rd turn, but you place this one on the first person to hire 3 people in 1 turn. If no one does that over 3 turns, then that milestone is removed. So that's kind of neat. Gives you a little, race to try to get these done before they're gone forever. All right, so that's all I really want to talk about the milestones. It's very self-explanatory. You can read about them in the menu and even on the card. So let's go over some of these new roles here and things that go into it. You have a night shift manager. That's one of the only new management roles that they have here. And of course, it's only 1 per player that can have this. But the night shift manager allows all your employees who don't require a salary, meaning they don't have this icon at the bottom of the card, they can work twice on that turn. So that's really good. Basically, if you have a bunch of, medium bottom level people, you can put one of these down and have them work double the amount. So that's really neat. It's just one of the new roles, and you can get them right off the bat. You don't have to train your junior manager. Looks like you can just get them right off the bat. Of course, you will have to start paying him once you hire him. There's a few people who are like that. All right, so you have your marketing trainee. We already know who he is, and this was usually what they would go off. This is their old career path here. But as you see, his career path can now split into a few other things. One of them is a rural marketer, and let me show you the card. Here it is. Took me long enough to find it. All right, so the rural marketer, he's going to place a giant billboard next to the rural area tile. What is this talking about? Well, if you're playing, and all this stuff is modular, meaning you don't have to include all these expansions, but you probably want to, because some of these characters require certain areas be given. So this one is the rural marketing house. You can do double marketing, and it's unlimited demand. Like, they can just keep stacking up. Like, they don't stop after just a few resources are on their card. They just get unlimited. Now, they are off the board, usually kind of out in the country there, and they'll just buy anything. But the way to get to them is to get a rural marketer. And once you do that, there's a few things that'll happen. First off, you're going to go ahead and grab one of these and put your man by it and say, okay, what am I going to advertise these people? And every round they're going to want whatever's on this billboard, and it's infinity here, so it's permanent. And of course, as you see, there's only room for 4. So once everyone gets all 4 sides marketed, this place is done. But you're deciding what they want, unlimited here, and you need a rural marketer to reach out to them. Now, this is usually the last house to be served, and the cool thing is, on the grid board, whether it's 3x3, 4x4, whatever many players you're playing with, someone is going to put this freeway token on the edge of the board, and preferably next to your restaurant, which means that's the path of where they are. So even though maybe the tile's over here and the big board's over here, if you put the freeway here, that means everyone must drive out this way to get to this house. So this kind of helps you out with distance. You know, whoever's closest to the freeway token will be closest to this one as well. So that's really cool. I really do like that little expansion they put in there. The other one is the Mass Marketer. Now the Mass Marketer, here he is. You can play an extra marketing phase this turn. It says don't remove any extra duration tokens. Basically what it's saying is you can add an additional resource on those houses that you're marketing to. You know, it's mass marketing. Maybe you are producing burgers left and right, or pizzas left and right, and man, you can't give these away fast enough. People need to order more. Well, if you have a mass marketer, he'll add that one extra on there. You know, regular billboard would just add one on there, but he'll add an additional one to whatever you're marketing at that point. So almost double the marketing there. So that's really cool. And then the last one is a Food Critic. Now all these say it right here on the board, but I'm just showing you the cards here. It says you can market to all houses with gardens, a maximum of 3. Now you think that may not be much, but hey, there are certain houses that have gardens that may not even be close to you. And it's a good way to screw over those other opponents and throw something there that they can only get at your restaurant instead of theirs. So the Gourmet Food Critic is pretty good. Now, other than that, the rest of these are normal as they were. You can look at my review of the base game if you want to hear talk about more about that. Second thing I want to talk about is, oh wait, I forgot to mention that this game comes with tons of wooden bits. It comes with these big jumbo bits. This represents 5 of any type thing. And I should say there are new things on the menu here. You have kimchi, which I'll talk about in a minute, sushi, noodles, and I just lost it, but it's coffee. Now, my problem here, my one little complaint is sushi and noodles look very similar. One's purple, one's brown. I don't know if you can see it against that white there, but they do look very similar. I wish they would have kind of made these a little bit more different, easier to tell apart. Especially in low-lit rooms, there's no way you're going to find that out. But that's coffee. Yeah, there's coffee in this game. How do I know this? Because there's baristas. Now, you can actually get a barista to start making coffee for you. And here's the barista trainee. Hey, he's going to produce 1 coffee for you. Now, if you train him up, he'll be a barista, and they will make 2 coffees for you. But of course, there's always that lead barista who can produce 5 coffees for you. And of course, that's only 1 per player there. So anyway, as you are training them up, they're going to produce more and more coffee. What is coffee? Well, guess what, folks? In this game, on top of restaurants, you're going to get the choice or chance to put up some coffee shops too. Now, I just brought 1 of each, but I think there's like 3 of each for each restaurant. And you can put these coffee shops out on the board, and when other restaurants, other cars, you know, you're deciding houses are traveling to those other restaurants, if they pass by one of your coffee houses and you actually have coffee for sale, they're going to pick it up and they're going to buy it. Now, how do you know if they're taking your route or someone else's route? Let's say, I'm going to put out some of these tiles here. These are some of the new tiles that come in the game, and I'll explain more about them later. Let's say that someone has their restaurant right here, and so there's this house here, and so he's coming, or maybe this apartment, and there's coffee shops here, here, and here. Who would get it? Well, if it's this one, he's coming through here and getting that coffee right there. If it's going, if this is the apartment people, they're coming out to this restaurant, they're selling coffee if they have it. Same thing for that apartment. What if I flip it around in here? What if this person's driving here? Would he buy coffee from him in him? Yes, because it's on the way to the restaurant. So it's just extra way to make big bucks. And of course, you have to open these up like you would stores as well, but that is the coffee shop, and they kind of called an expansion there, but basically kind of want to put all these together. But that's the coffee shop, extra ways to make extra bucks. Not really going to talk about some of these tiles, but this one here, of course, it comes with a garden. It's a dead end. This one just has multiple lemonade. This one is parks. Whenever you have parks, in an area. If you have houses, they're in parks, they'll pay double for the food. Apartment buildings here, the number pi and the 9 3/4, ha ha ha. These are apartments. They do not have any limit on food that can store up here, so you can just keep advertising these and they'll just keep building up, and if you can fulfill them, ooh, that's going to be a lot of money in the game. So those are just some of the extra tiles there too. Glad I got that through, because now I'm going on to waitresses, and there are movie stars now. Yes, there are movie stars that you can promote your, or I guess train your waitress to be a movie star too. And what they are, there's 3 different types. There's the B movie star, C movie star, and D movie star. This is going to actually present to you the first in the turn order. They win all ties, first choice. They win all ties, but not against B, and they win all ties, but not against B and C. So basically these can be tiebreakers, and as you know, as you see, there can be 1 of each. If it's a 2 to 3 player game, there's only 1 of each in the deck. If there's 4 players, there's 2 of each. 5 players, there's 3 of each, and 6 players, there's 4 of each. The game will tell you that too. But now you can train them up to be movie stars. Of course, they're, you know, just getting you higher in the turn order. They do break ties, unlike the waitresses now. This even trumps the waitresses as well, so they're a little bit better than waitresses. In fact, the new waitress card even says, hey, they can be up-trained to be a movie star. So really like that. That's kind of neat. The next one is the lobbyist. The lobbyist can create a road or a park. Yeah, you heard me. There is roads and parks here that they can get. So there's my lobbyist right here. So what am I talking about? Okay, let's say I have this one out here, and I told you this one has a garden. Well, I want to create a park. Well, there are these park pieces here that if you have a lobbyist, he can get some of these park pieces and he can kind of fit them around here and put them next to a park. It's kind of like Tetris pieces. Now, no, you wouldn't want to put more than one park in the area, but you know, you put one of these parks in there, and that way, of course, they're double-sided there, so you maybe give him a park, and that's why, this is why I told you, they're paying double because they have a garden, but they're paying triple because they're near a park. Whoa! So, and if they're close to you, then the lobbyist is well worth your time. Another cool thing with the lobbyist is they can create roads, and this is the just really awesome, groundbreaking thing they did here. So, well, you wouldn't have that. Let's say you had something more like this, and you really wanted, let's say, to make a connection to, let's say, this is here, and this is here. Man, I really wish I could get faster to them because I'm very far away. I'm 1, 2, 3 tiles away from them because of that road. Well, what you can do for the lobbyist, you can get any one, and there's 3 types of roads here that you can use. You can say, okay, well, I'm just going to attach this road here. And now look, you've completed a road through there that goes from one space to the next. Now, before you do that, you have to place it on this side first, construction side. It has to stay like that for one turn, and then on the next turn, it'll be available. Now, if they want to travel over a construction road, it's going to cost ×2. So they are actually instead of 1 tile away, he's 2 tiles away because the road's a little rough, it's under construction. But after that first turn, boom, then it's a clean road. The lobbyist is really important to use probably in the game where you're trying to get those parks and those roads to connect and make things closer to wherever your restaurant is, or just connect houses together. So the lobbyist, another really cool character that they have in the game. All right, so other things. We have our kitchen trainee, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about the kitchen trainee first and then go to the kimchi master. This game, of course, is about Chinese food, it looks like. You have your burger cook and your pizza cook. We all know they're going to be burger chefs and pizza chefs one day. But now you have a noodle cook. That's right. There's a gal who cooks your noodles. And the noodle cook produces these little noodles here. And here's my noodle cook. My noodle cook produces 6 noodles. Woohoo! So what do noodles do? Well, they're basically just generic, food items in the game. If no one has the items they want, like so this person wants pizza, beer, and a cola or whatever, no one can fulfill that, or everyone who's fulfilled that has now taken their turn, then you can fulfill it with noodles. Anything can be replaced with noodles. And so you have the noodles. Like I said, they're going to go with someone with the actual ingredients first, but if no one has that combination of ingredients, then they'll go to you if you have enough noodles. So noodles are kind of miscellaneous. They can wild cards, they can go for anything, but of course, before a house travels to you first, they will go to the place who actually has their order or has the stuff they want. If they don't, then they'll go for your noodles. And noodles can sell for the same thing too. A lot of money can be made off noodles. Now, of course, you also have your sushi cook. There it is. There's your sushi cook. They can produce 2 sushi. right here. Now you never have to market sushi. Sushi is going to be bought by any houses with gardens. Another reason why you want to create I can't remember I think the first one, it's called a land developer or something like that, business developer. You definitely want to create more gardens for houses, because if you're selling sushi, they will always buy your sushi on top of their order too. So people with gardens, they're kind of uppity and they really like their sushi, and that's why you want a sushi cook. Now, of course, any of these, noodle cook, sushi cook, they can get promoted to any of these as well. As you see, well, a noodle cook can only be a noodle chef, and a noodle chef can produce a whopping 16 noodles for you. How do you do there? And of course, it's a one-time card there. And then you have the sushi cook, who has a few options, as does a lot of these cooks here. But the sushi cook can become a sushi chef, and that chef can create 5 sushi. Ooh, that's going to be really good, and you can make money if the houses have gardens. Now, on top of all that, they can always be a fry chef. Now, a fry chef basically is going to give you a bonus $10 per sale, which is actually really awesome when you think about it, and EM can be trained to do that. So if you're selling things, you have your fry chef in there, that's just going to add more money into your pocket there. So those are the new items for the kitchen trainee. Now, there is one other one here. It is called the Kimchi Master. And what that Kimchi Master does is she produces 1 kimchi at the end of the cleanup phase. This is kimchi. Kimchi is very powerful. If you store it, it cannot be stored with any of the other food items. Oh, I should mention that coffee can never be stored to the next day, because who wants yesterday's coffee? Now, that's true. You throw out, coffee automatically gets thrown away every day if that doesn't get sold. But kimchi, it can't be stored with other items. It has to be stored by itself. Once they produce a kimchi, anyone will come. Kimchi will break all ties and everything. Distance does not matter, because these people want some kimchi. Anyone will buy kimchi from you. Unfortunately, that's all you get is one, but it also brings a big old spotlight on your restaurant, and you break all ties, because everyone will run over their own grandmother to get some kimchi. If you ever had kimchi, that is not believable in the least. All right, so those are all the new roles you can do there. I should also mention that the Food Critic, when he is doing his marketing of the gardens, you're gonna take one of these books to represent his marketing. That's what these are for in the game. You actually have a couple of them that you can use. You'll never be using all of them in a game. And like I said, some of the characters have different abilities now. Like I said, some of the different milestones, you don't want to mix the milestones up. You want to use either the new milestones or the old milestones, because some of them are very similar, but they give you different rewards now. And you know what? I think I'm done here, so let me go to my final review. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, I wonder how long it took them to come up with the title. By the way, there's no ketchup in this. What? I thought there'd be ketchup. I thought condiments were going to be a part of it. The moment I saw this, I said, aha, do you want any mustard or pickles on that hamburger? It's going to up it $1 each or something like that, or make it more tasty. I don't know. I was totally wrong on this. Okay, so this is exactly what it says, an expansion set. It says it's modular. You don't have to add them all in, but folks, it feels like you kind of do. It feels like you kind of do, because if you don't add the coffee shops in there, then the coffee shops are no good, right? The baristas are no good. If you don't add certain aspects of the game, if you don't have the rural house tile in there, which you don't every time, well, then you don't need the rural marketer. And I get that. You just remove them from the game, and then some of the milestones you have to remove too. But I don't know. It seems like it wants you to put everything in there, and when you put everything in there, it's weird. It's both good and bad. I really don't know how to recommend this game. I love the base game. There's so many choices, so many paths to victory. This one gives you a billion more choices. I mean, you have an entire other menu to look at, which causes huge AP. Everyone, it doubles, at least doubles the time to play Food Chain Magnate. I brought it out, I brought the expansion. Some of my friends had already played it before, some hadn't. I said, well, this is okay. This will give you maps. But then I saw they had to look at 2 menus, and they're going, one girl was just guessing. It's just rolling the dice and just picking someone up or training this one, or she didn't know what to do. So she basically gave up what came in. But the other girl basically got the hang of it, and she started, building her own empire. Actually got really good at it too. But for the rest of us who play the game, it was hard. It's hard to sit there and try to make so many decisions. You're rubbing your head like, oh my gosh. And it slowed down the game. The game took double the amount of time it normally takes. And I was like, oh my gosh, this game will never end. And when it ended real quick too. So the catch-up mechanism, I'll get to that in a minute. But things like, one guy got the night shift manager, never used it. Never used it the entire time. He just didn't have the time. See, with the new milestones and the timers on those milestones and just the game changing like that, once marketing hits, the game is afoot, man. You are either in it or you're left behind. And I guess that's why they said, okay, well here, we'll make noodles. That way you can always at least sell something while all this crazy marketing is going down. Yeah, but then everyone's going to start selling noodles, so then it boils down to who's the closest. But then maybe you say, well, I want to get kimchi, and no one, in every game we've played, no one has gotten kimchi. And kimchi, you don't have to train anyone. You think a sushi master would go up to a kimchi master or something. No, you hire him right off the bat. I don't get that. And it's a tiebreaker for everyone. But if everyone has a kimchi master, then then you go back to the regular Thai rules. So it looks like a kimchi master is no good. I've never seen anyone get sushi either. No, that's a lie. I did see someone get sushi, but they never could sell to that place with the garden. Now they needed a business developer, to put more gardens next to houses. That's what they should have done. They should have thought about that. They didn't, because like I said, there's way too many choices with both menus there. But he didn't sell any sushi. He had the sushi guy. He'd make sushi. Eventually, he just kicked him off the team. Same thing for the lobbyist. The lobbyist is great to have for a short time, but once you've created parks next to you and roads to you, you really don't need him anymore. So you have to boot him. You have to kick him off to the road, because the girl got him really quick, made connections to all the houses to her house, put some parks up next to the houses next to hers, and said, you know what, I'm really done with this guy. I don't need him for the rest of the game. And you really don't. Coffee shops, they're nice, but you have to work a lot just to get that extra $10 as they're driving by your place to go get someone else's and pay like $60 to them or something. So, and of course you got to keep putting that coffee out next to those coffee shops. I mean, they'll keep buying it as long as cars keep driving through there, but someone's tried that strategy and you don't win. It's just not that much money, but you have to, it appears when we've played it, the couple of times we've played it, okay, when we did coffee shops, it just appears it wasn't making enough money to justify the cost. That's just for us there. So, and like I said, all this stuff, noodle cook, sushi cook, baristas, everything they have. Oh, the mass marketers, rural marketers, gourmet food critics, we use all those. We kind of like those. Those are kind of neat. It's always nice you got all this food, you don't want to just throw it away because you don't have freezer space, so you just get a mass marketer who adds that one extra burger or lemonade or whatever it is you have a big quantity of. That's really helpful. The rural marketer you got to get, of course, if that rural house is out there, because you can't not ignore it. It's almost exclusive to you for that first few moments. Once you get there, everyone has to go out there because they can't let you have a monopoly on that rural house. So it does swing the game as food chain Magnate is supposed to be. The gourmet food critic is basically just a screw you move. That's the only time we've really ever used them. We haven't used them that much. What I'm saying is there's a lot of choices. Here's my analogy. It's like when you go on a roller coaster ride and it has too many loops and too many turns, so many that you vomit all over yourself. But when you get out of the ride, you go, oh, that was kind of fun. But it sucked that you had to vomit all over yourself to have that fun. That's almost what it feels like playing this expansion. Now, will I play with the expansion again? Heck yes, I will. But I'm going to have to clear off my night for and put other board games back on the shelf, because we only got, in a regular night, we can get through maybe 4 board games, 3 if they're long. No, that night we only did 2. Food Chain Magnate and 1 quick one, a really quick one before everyone left. So it just doubles the time of Food Chain Magnate. That's a bad thing. There's way too many decisions, which causes analysis paralysis. That's a bad thing. But after it's all over and said and done, you're like, I don't know, I kind of like this, because there is a catch-up mechanism. Here, this is what I want to talk about, the catch-up mechanism. On one of the games, I didn't know what was happening, because marketing can really screw you, right? Where you can't sell to any house. You got all this food for nothing. Well, that's where noodles come in. And you get those noodles, and one time no one had noodles, and I just started just training a noodles cook, make 16 noodles, and I was banging out noodles left and right. And I cleaned house on the entire, anyone who didn't sell anything that round, all the apartments, people weren't able to sell the apartments because they had too much stuff at that point, because they're unlimited. And I was like, man, I can clean out both apartments and these extra houses that no one can get. I think I can win this game. And I took all the cash. On one turn, I took all the remaining cash. I lost by 15 points because the person who went before me took $15. And I was like, no, I didn't know that. I thought I'd won it first. But I mean, I took a big, big, big reward back to me. So it was a big catch-up. In fact, I was dead last. I went from dead last to almost winning. And if I would have thought of that strategy maybe one turn earlier, I would have won. So yeah, there are ways to swing it to where the person who's just dragging last because they fell behind in marketing or training people or whatnot, or they're bad at mismanaging their business like I was. There is a way for them to catch up and jump back in the game, and I guess that's the purpose of it. But holy cow, that is a lot of stuff to put into one game, and especially on top of that. So I don't know if I can. It costs the same exact amount as the base game, and that's because of all the wood bits in there. The extra wood bits are nice. The big 5 bits are nice, but you don't use them as much as you would think. If everyone got the storage, then you can use them, but you're still not using that many when you're producing them. So I don't know. I like it. Is it worth the extra $100? I don't know. If you really love the game, then yeah, get it. If you're not a fan of the game, steer clear from this. If you don't want it to be double the length, steer clear from this. If you have people who suffer from analysis paralysis, please keep them away from this game. But if you think you want to tough the waters, it is worth getting. This is so weird to me. This is why my review is going so long. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Until next time, gamers, you know what to do. Game on.